Hey everybody, Dr. Imholt here, Chief Wizarding Officer for One for All Social, and which Chief Wizarding Officer is basically Chief Technical Officer. We're going to talk about this TikTok ban because I posted something about it earlier, and I was listening in on a one of the Spaces things over on Twitter about it. And yes, I called it Twitter. I know it's called X, but it people are just getting this wrong. So we're going to look at the bill and what it says. And the question I asked was this is obviously going to get challenged in the courts, right? This is not going to be something that they just pass and walk away, and it's not going to go anywhere. This is going to somebody's going to sue. So let's look at the actual law because I see people making a lot of, oh, it says this, and it doesn't really say that because I read it. So let's look at a few things. One person claimed that, well, you can't really call out a company in a law. You have to pass something vague that could apply to anybody, and we'll all come back to regret that later. Well, let's look at this. This is the one that passed committee on March 14th, HR 7521, which was then incorporated into something else. But this is the essential text of it. To protect national security of the United States from a threat posed by a foreign adversary controlled application such as TikTok and any successor applications or services and any other applications or services developed or provided by ByteDance Limited or an entity under the control of ByteDance Limited. So, yeah, they are calling out TikTok and the parent company absolutely by name. This is not some vague law designed to eventually go seize other social media companies that are based here in the United States. In general, what this app does, it prohibits prohibition of foreign adversary controlled applications. It shall be unlawful for any entity to describe, maintain, or update, enable the distribution, maintenance, or updating of a foreign adversary controlled application by carrying out within the land and maritime borders of the United States any of the following. And it lines out some things which basically describes TikTok. Where does this apply? Data information portability to alternate applications. But before the data on which the prohibition under this thing applies to a foreign adversary controlled application, the entity that owns or controls such application shall provide, upon request by a user of such application within the land and maritime borders of the United States, to such user that all available data related to the account to which the user respect to such application, which is big lawyer language for, hey, if somebody asks for their own data, they got to give it to them. But it does not say in here, such data, it does go on to say, such data shall be provided in a machine readable format and shall be included and shall include any data maintained by such applications with respect to the amount to the account of such user, including content, posts, photos, videos, and other account information. Now, the thing about TikTok is it can actually snoop through your whole phone and grab other information as well because the terms and conditions says it can. So the bill doesn't really cover that, but it also doesn't say they can't keep it, right? So there are a couple of exemptions lined out here. There's a couple of enforcement actions lined out here. There's some severability clauses. It does say, here's how it's what we mean by foreign adversary, but basically, it then says, it does have some vague things about companies, but it's talking about one company in particular that's at the top of the document. It then goes down to add some sort of vague things about how they define that company. But this is very specifically targeting TikTok. And the thing I don't get about this is that yes, it's specifically a TikTok, and yes, it does say foreign companies, so it does exclude U.S. companies, which is, I guess, nice because most social media applications are U.S. companies. But the interesting thing is they're going after TikTok specifically, and I don't understand how this is not going to get struck down in the courts. That's been my big question. This really does go after one company and one company only. It says it's bad for the United States. It says sell it to us or else. I understand completely if you actually want to go off and say, hey, look, ban it in the United States. This app has been banned in a lot of different places. Okay. I understand that. But if you're trying to say, hey, look, ban it or sell it to us, that I don't get because that's sort of a mafia tactic. And then somebody on one of the socials on Twitter actually pointed out follow the money, and I was like, well, that's a pretty interesting idea. And it turns out former Treasury Secretary Munchin is trying to buy TikTok with an investor group. I wonder if he knows anybody over in Congress and Senate who might have been putting this together. So I don't know that this law is going to stand. I think it's going to get struck down just because of the way this is written. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a physicist by training. Yeah, so I work in software AI, but I don't know how this is going to hold up in our courts. I hear the argument right now somebody's going to make, but China bans stuff all the time. Great. China bans stuff all the time. That's fantastic. Ban it, I understand. Ban it or else is weird to me in a lot of different ways because then it lends itself to that sale having a lot of terms and conditions in it where China still gets access to data. They still get certain ownership rights. Maybe we only buy 51%, they hold 49. It lends itself to a lot of legal monkey business, right? So to me, this quarter opens up a whole new can of worms. And as somebody who's in the social media business, this is something we're going to watch very carefully as it develops, because this whole thing to me kind of says we're going to ban it, but not right. It's bad, but it's not. Hey, you can't spy on people. We can spy on people, but maybe we'll share that information with you. This to me is still a bunch of vague, up in the air crap. So we will continue to watch it, but I get that China bans our stuff. I understand that. I get that China has oddly enough banned TikTok. Weird. But what they banned TikTok for was another set of social media apps that are far more intrusive and very much censored. So while, yes, I agree, they ban X, they ban some others. What they've done is they've replaced them with ones that they can then heavily censor the data that comes through on, as well as monitor even more than TikTok monitors us. So everybody, please just chill out a little bit. I understand. I understand that this is still new and people are still trying to figure it out. But I do not see how this stands up in the U.S. court. If a physicist can look at this and go, I see four different ways to challenge it, and I'm not a lawyer, I guarantee you somebody at ByteDance is looking at this right now, going, no problem, we can take this to court and knock this thing out of the park. So um, I don't think TikToks are going anywhere. I think it's going to be here. I don't think it's going to be sold. I think it's going to stay in the hands of China. Uh, I I think what might result in this, and this is just me speculating, I think it might result in us being able to tell TikTok, hey, or ByteDance, hey, some of your monitoring stuff, we really need to roll that back a little bit, right? But I will also tell you that since I work in the social media space and data analytics in general, um, TikTok is yes, it monitors things, and yes, everybody wants to invoke national defense, but a lot of data that people don't think is out there is already out there, and it's out there perfectly legally. It's out there off of Meta accounts. It's off there Instagram and Experian. If you have a credit report or buy things on a credit card, the amount of data Experian will sell to other companies is far beyond what most people understand. So it's not that TikTok is even the worst of those. TikTok is the target because it's foreign owned and it's a little easier under international commerce to go off and try to regulate. But I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think this is going to get struck down. This might just be sort of an exploratory, so they can say they did something. But I don't think this part of it's going to sustain. So if you're on TikTok and you enjoy it, I don't think you have anything to worry about. I don't think it's going to be sold. Probably not even going to change. Might change a little bit on how much data harvesting they do, but outside of that, I think it's going to stay. So everybody relax a little bit. Try to enjoy. If you're on TikTok and like it, I've been on it before. I kind of enjoyed scrolling through videos from time to time. Uh, Personally, I kind of like the YouTube Shorts a little better, but my age demographic is a little different than the typical TikTok user because I'm 52. Although there are people in our company that TikTok is their go-to for just about anything. So um, I don't think this law is going to stick around is the long and short of this, but I do appreciate everybody's input on it. So everybody have a great day. If you're interested in our company, it's o4a.com. We have a lot of tools that help you get your message seen on social media. So we've got a hashtag tool and some other data analytics stuff that analyzes your account for you and gives you information about how to get your posts seen a lot better than anybody else's tools on the market. So everybody have a great day. I don't think this is going anywhere, but we'll talk again soon.